it's Precocious Lotus here, or Dr Audrey Tang if you watch Mental Health Matters, with another episode of the Spotlight series of Skits and Quibbles, where I meet amazing individuals making real headway within the arts or using the arts in their profession, and I find out what makes them tick and how they got started. Today's guest is absolutely incredible. Well, all our guests are absolutely incredible. He has worked as a hospital clown. He's a medical GP. He's also a hypnotherapist. He is your absolute go-to person for well-being and really how to look after your own body. But I'm going to hear all about his history and his training as a hospital clown in Brazil. But before that, I'd like to invite you to join me on the main stage. So today's burlesque move is the sock peel, the stocking peel, not sock, because that doesn't sound very sexy. So what you will do is you get your leg up on a chair. It doesn't have to be this high. Okay. I'm going to put it there. These are very sad socks, I'm afraid. They're not very sexy socks, but you use what you've got. What you do is you put your fingers in, and you can do them one at a time. You have one finger, and then you bring the sock down. But before you even start that, you need to do something even special, and this is a burlesque secret. This little bit here, you're going to push that between your toes, and you're going to grip onto that. And you're going to see why in a moment, because you've got here, you can hold onto the chair, you work past the heel, bring the leg behind you if you wish, and pull, and then because you've got that sock held between your toes, you get that lovely escape of the sock afterwards. Otherwise you end up with a ball of sock, and that doesn't look very nice at all. But if that made you smile today, that's a good start, because we're ready to meet our hospital clown. It's Dr. Gus Chaves.
Mas afinal, o que é narizes de plantão?
Narizes de plantão, pra mim, ele é um projeto, um bando de aluno maluco, comandado por outro professor maluco.
Essa ideia maluca, que é o Narizes de Plantão, surgiu como um projeto de extensão lá em 2010. E aí desde então a gente já visitou mais de 60 mil pessoas nos hospitais. A gente já teve mais de 200 alunos que fizeram parte do grupo. E é um grupo que à primeira vista você olha e pode pensar, é um grupo que atua de modo assistencial e de modo cultural, porque leva a figura do palhaço para o hospital, como muitos grupos fazem. E é verdade, mas a gente também é um grupo com um foco educacional. Isso porque a gente quer resolver um problema da educação na área da saúde. E qual que é esse problema? A tal da humanização do atendimento.
Dr. Gus, welcome to Skits and Quibbles. Now, in the UK, we don't really use this type of training, and I know in the video Mauro said a little bit about what hospital clowning is, but if we're still a little bit unsure, please can you give us an introduction to this particular skill?
Well, clowning is a form of art. So in Brazil, hospital clowning specifically was kind of pioneered by a group called Doutores da Alegria, which would translate as Doctors of Joy. So they actually, part of their wardrobe, there's always like a white coat and a clown behind it. So they're still like wearing makeup and weird shoes and stuff, but the white coat. And they started going to hospitals. It still is a voluntary work, but they're all prepared actors. So they're, you know, they do it. I don't know exactly how they work, but they're all like actors, professional actors that trained in the clowning language, and they bring it to hospitals to kind of change the atmosphere.
I like that. And then within your training, you've almost flipped the script a little bit. You've got your medically trained professionals going into the hospitals, almost learning to be actors.
In a way, yes. I think we need to explore the artistic vein that we all have, and see the positive aspects that it can bring to your profession. Like, so when we talk about health system in general, so anybody within the health sector, so from psychologists, nurses, doctors, we all have like this serious, very serious aspect, and we tend to interpret the opposite of serious as being fun, and it's not. The opposite of fun is not serious, it's boring. So you can be serious and fun. And maybe like what I like about the clowning, the hospital clowning, for the people who come from the health sector, is that it gives us a new approach to what we do.
Yes.
So it's okay to be fun and lighthearted and you know, take it. Be there, just be there, and allow yourself to connect in a different way.
Yes.
And still be your professional person. And
that is really important for anyone, I think, starting in the medical profession in particular, because I do think you go into it thinking, I need to just be this type of doctor. And that can take away, exactly as you say, the human side of things. And so in terms of your training, this is your logo for the work that you do. Tell me about him, please.
This is Teobaldo, it's his name. It's kind of the logo of the Narizes de Plantão, the name of the project I was part of. And we had like several t-shirts and mugs that we would sell to like get some money to get some new professionals to come and train us. So we were trained by like some A-lists within the arts in general. So some were like singers, others were from bands, others were like actors, others have their own TV shows, and they would come and train us. So it was the way that we had to get some money to fund our training.
Bringing out the joy, bringing out these characters and bringing out what you got from the drama, what benefits have you seen for yourself through that training?
As a professional, you mean? I think it gave me an opportunity to go back in the hospital because I did clowning whilst training as a doctor. So I was still doing my medical training and doing clowning on the side. So I would go back to medical setting or healthcare setting with a different perspective. It was like massive to me because I could just be there and not be interested in their diagnosis, their kidney or their leg or whatever they were there for. But I could just be there and see that there's like a child, there's a mother, there's more to people than just their diagnosis or whatever they are treating. So it gave me like a broader perspective on what a human being is and what they really needed. And sometimes just be there to connect gave me a new perspective on how to treat my patients too, because they were not just there for diabetes or, kidney failure. It was also to connect. There's a person behind that diagnosis. And it helped me massively.
Yeah, I can hear that. And that's really, it's so nice to hear that. A lot of people may still be thinking that clowning is practical jokes and you were trained by professional clowns. Clowning is an art form. But what do you draw from the art that you then put into the clinical practice? So are there any particular elements that you can identify that, that is directly from the art form and that's how I apply it in clinical?
That's a very complicated question.
Yeah.
Because during our first training, before we start clowning, there's a lot of training, 12, I think, sessions, like 4-hour sessions.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very intense,
Yeah.
so that we can start to visit hospitals.
Of course.
And it's not really developing the art. It's mostly getting used to being laughable.
Yes.
Because people think when you go to a hospital and you're wearing something like a white coat, you are superior. So when you go into a room, everybody's like prepared to be informed or something in a very serious manner.
Yes.
And when you go into a hospital room as a clown, you're already below everybody else in the room. Nobody expects anything from you because you have nothing of value to give.
Because you're a clown.
Because you're a clown. Nobody's expecting anything from you. So that makes you so comfortable with being who you are. So when you train as a clown, you realize that your clown persona, it's not a character. It's the real you that you have to mask during, living in society. So you're just comfortable with making mistakes and like owning, the shadows. You're okay with saying them because you're like, nobody cares.
That's so powerful.
It is.
Oh my goodness. No, that's so powerful. I need to pull at that thread a bit more. So you must have then different types of clowns or characters that emerge through that training. How would you describe the real you?
Okay, so it took me a while to get comfortable because I had this, perfectionist side of me. So get rid of that as a clown was very difficult. But then with training, you started, we analyzed what worked, what didn't. It's like, every time I make a mistake, people laugh. And in society, when you're laughed at, it's like something bad. As a clown, when somebody calls you idiot, you're like, yes, that's what I want. Because you start to change your perspective around the word idiot and, stupid. It's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Because you start to accept the fact that you are. We all are laughable.
Yes.
And whenever you're laughing at somebody, at a clown, you're not laughing because he's stupid. You're laughing because you relate to the stupidity.
Yes.
And you're like, I've been there, but I hid it.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to just finding out that you can be stupid and be, laughable, and it's okay. And it's so liberating because nobody cares. In the end, nobody cares.
Yeah. Which is actually true of life, isn't it? Really? Oh my goodness. Well, this leads us so beautifully on to the next clip of the video. This is part of a documentary that was made at your training facility. And these are some of the exercises that Dr. Gus was put through during his training, but also some of the revelations that the professionals were finding through doing those exercises.
Comando alto, comando baixo, comando alto, baixo.
Pão de queijo, me rodou e o bacon fica aqui. Venho me mostrar que o sonho não tem fim.
Ah, no piranga, ok.
Eu nunca vou esquecer que você falou da outra oficina, de pegar o nosso maior defeito e transformar em uma qualidade, sei lá. Nossa, aquilo pra mim foi morto.
Are there any patients who don't like it? You know, they kind of go, oh, no, or they're scared of clowns.
Yes, I have encountered some who were afraid of clowns, and you have to respect them because you can see panic in their face, and you cannot force them to interact with you. But because we train, you know, when you watch Karate Kid, is that where? And Mr. Miyagi is teaching the guy to clean the house, and you're like, oh my God, you're not teaching me anything that's you know worth my time.
And then
with clowning training, we kind of go through the same. We don't use the words vulnerability. We don't talk about finding yourself. You just get there with training. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And then your personal life changes because of the training. And it's really amazing to go through it. But yeah, when you encounter, one of the things that we train on is like mirroring and reading a room. So listening, which is part of, comes from theater. So if somebody shouts at you, you cannot just say, oh, I'm sorry. You have to go at the same level.
Yes.
So you went into a room and you see somebody who's like not interested in, you know, interacting with you, or they don't like your idea. You have the option of accepting that and focusing on those who are, you know, there for you, because you can see them in their eyes, their smile, they are there for you to interact. Or you can use another technique, which is going to the same level. So because we work in groups always, at least two of us are together. One can just, you know, come to their sense like, this is stupid, isn't it? And then they're like, oh, you're with me. And then they're with us. So they're going to play within what they want to do, which is deny our, you know, importance or our presence. And then just, oh my God, this was terrible, wasn't it? And then we got them. So even if they didn't want or liked us, they start to, because we're now speaking their language.
Yes, I love that. And that makes a lot of sense to have two of you go in there. Because if it's just you, it's really difficult to almost switch that from that character that's really being enjoyed by this part of the audience to the other one. That's really well thought through. Now, I know you said with the exercises you don't mention vulnerability, you don't mention those things, but you come to them. Were there any particularly significant exercises that you can remember that you kind of went, oh yes, that was I really enjoyed that one? I know the mirroring is a very good one.
The mirroring one was one that I noticed how important it is. Because I don't know if you know what it is, but you just stand one, and then you start mimicking
leader and
the other
follower.
one. Yeah, exactly. But we never know who's doing what. So I'm gonna start. Okay, then at some point, whenever you feel like
fall down, but so
So whenever you feel like it, you can follow, and I'll try to mimic you. So at some point, we start to allow ourselves to like merge.
I love that.
And we don't know who's controlling it because it's, you see what I mean? And this is what we do. So this is a training like a Miyagi version, because when you get into a room, the guy is not mimicking you.
No.
But energy-wise and vibe, we kind of, oh, he's there, so let me get there with him so that I can bring him somewhere else.
Yes. This is like reading the room as actors, isn't it? And in live theatre, certainly, it might be that you've rehearsed a scene a certain way, but then someone delivers a line differently, and then you suddenly think, oh, wait, no, I've got to respond to that.
Yeah, but the concept, it's not taught to you on a conscious level.
Yes.
You're doing it through an exercise. Like, it's very physical. So when you stop to analyze, like, oh, that's why the mirroring is important. But because we start to understand that it's connecting through, you know, in their level. Yeah. And then maybe we can control a bit too. They control a bit, we control a bit, and it's like a play. So we're playing.
Yes, yes, yes. Were there any people who struggled with that? Because I know in acting, there's struggles, and these people want to be actors. These are medical professionals who came into this one probably having a different mindset, and then suddenly they're put into this acting training. Were there any professionals who went, really?
Well, firstly, you have to want to be there. Yeah. So, and there's like a selection procedure. So you go through a, selection process. Yeah, yeah. So we kind of spot those who really want to go. And also it's very, how can I say, there's no rule to it. Yeah. It's like, oh, I felt like this guy would really go for it. And those who didn't promise much, but had something that we couldn't, put our fingers on, at some point would just deliver so much because like, oh, I was so tired of having this persona on me. I don't have to use those masks anymore. And just let go and go. And they become one of the best clowns we have. So we never know. We never know. And people accept who they are as who they are. Yeah. And it's like so liberating. Yes,
that is the key word, isn't it? Is that liberation. I think, again, we need more of that. So the last question of this little segment before we watch a little bit more is about the teamwork that comes out of this. Because what we're going to see is, in the next video, a couple of people talking about the team and how they began to understand each other better because they recognized that as a clown, this type of character was going to behave in this way. And that was very different to the other way. And that's okay. It was that acceptance of the difference of people. Yeah. So how has that improved and developed your teamwork and your connection with colleagues as much as with patients?
I think the clowning helped me to see that people have their strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes in clowning, we would use their weaknesses. Because like, oh, they're gonna, bomb this, which is going to be great. And in teamwork, like work setting, you normally do the opposite, of course. But sometimes also knowing their weaknesses, it's also knowing where their limitations are, their limits are. So it's also, I don't know, you get to experiment teamwork differently because you cannot do it all. Yeah. And instead of just trying to learn all the skills that you should have, to get there, you might actually get someone to help you get there, and you both grow together.
Yes. Again, which is another important lesson for business teams as well.
Yeah.
Wow, let's have a look.
Primeiro jogo, no começo eu achei que ia ser muito difícil assim, porque era muita gente, sabe? Quando tem muita gente é muito muvucado. Calminho, vem cá. Mas depois fluiu, que é uma beleza, quando você fala as verdades para as pessoas, aquilo que elas precisam ouvir, quando você joga real, coisas que ninguém falaria no dia a dia, que elas são sensuais, que elas são de outra espécie, esse tipo de coisa que pessoas comuns não falariam, e a gente fala, elas se identificam, aí é tão gostoso, sabe?
Subespécie é... Marcílio.
É da subespécie Marcílio, é tranquilo, só morde um pouquinho. Meu parceiro, ele é muito diferente de mim. Eu sou meu parceiro é mais retraído, mas foi tão gostoso poder ver ele se requebrando, ele saindo da zona de conforto dele e se jogando e aprendendo coisas novas.
Mostra toda a sua sensualidade.
Hello. Join me, Stacey Bullock, host of Tools for Everyday Living, on E360's Positive Vibrations channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on E360 TV.
Dr. Gus, this is our Great Dream Challenge, and we give all of our guest stars this particular challenge on this show. And these are the 10 keys to happier living as described by the Action for Happiness, a wonderful charity. And they spell out Great Dream. It's giving, relating, and so on. And your challenge is to tell me how many of those things that you've done. I'll say giving, and you tell me when you've given. I'll say relating. And you've got a minute to tell me all of those things. No one has got further than A so far, so that's at least what you're aiming for. And if you can get up to M, then you're topping the leaderboard.
Okay.
Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
Your minute starts now. Giving, when have you given?
Time.
Oh, relating, how do you connect with people?
Through my work.
Exercising.
Twice a week, Zumba.
Oh, awareness, living life mindfully.
I meditate once a week minimum.
Brilliant. Trying new things.
I'm here.
I love it. Direction, having goals.
Yes, I want to be the best that I can, help as much people as possible.
Love it. Resilience, how have you bounced back?
I give myself 2 to 3 days tops to moan, and then I go back.
Love it. Emotions, how do you see the good in things?
I never lose. I only win or learn.
Love it. Acceptance, how do you become comfortable with who you are?
Clowning.
And meaning, being part of something bigger.
I'm a big time vegan and minimalist, and I'm all up for the, environment.
You have got time.
Yes!
Straight to the top of the leaderboard. Oh my goodness. There you go. Dr. Gus, we've knocked Dark Sugar off her perch, and in you go there.
Bye, Dark Sugar.
Well, you've just smashed our Great Dream Challenge.
I did.
So, Dr. Gus, tell me about your well-being. I mean, as a doctor, you've got the benefit of the clowning, you've got the benefit of the arts element, but how do you look after your well-being, as well as the Zumba classes and meditation?
I do try, I'm not going to lie, I do try to exercise as much as possible.
Right.
So I go to the gym at least twice a week. That's the minimum. Because I think it does get the edge off, because you really need to, we need an outlet.
Yeah.
And sometimes exercise, it's like one of the best ways to get it out there. I also try to meditate as much as possible. So twice a week, I try to do twice a week minimum.
Yeah.
I do a lot of self-hypnosis, which is I teach my clients normally, so that it can go on their own, path, journey. What else? I try, because my approach to with my clients is always to connect as much as possible, so that I can understand what they go through and make them feel comfortable with being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And sometimes we somehow get some of that energy, which is where sometimes I struggle with.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is disconnect from them afterwards. And I have some mantras of my own of like, this is not me, this is not mine, I should let it go and go on, so that I don't start to merge other people's struggles with my own.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's what sometimes people don't realise about care professionals is you spend a lot of time containing people's energy, and you do need to either release it or have that barrier, but no one really wants the boundary because of the connection and the need to connect to really support someone. That's incredibly important to remember and to use, I think. In terms of your own development now, you went from medical practice, you're still a medical practitioner, into hypnotherapy. All of this is really with the patient's best interest at heart, which I think is so important and essential. What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, that's a tough one.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, but I have a lot of ideas, and I am very pragmatic sometimes. So I take one step at a time. And right now I'm focusing on getting as much people through my programs, so that I can help as much people as possible. And as soon as I have like a because right now I have a very well structured program for weight loss specifically, but I do have ideas for other issues. So as soon as I get this one how can I say, solid program, I can start creating other ones.
Yeah.
So that can help more people and reach out to more.
And I think what's important also to add here when it comes to your weight loss program, this comes from being a clinician for diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure. It's not just, I want to lose weight to look pretty. It's not like
about
that at all.
Fitness, it's not about looks, it's about going through self-love, self-esteem, understanding where your struggles are, where the habits come from, how to change them, understanding that sometimes we struggle with that, but self-discipline is self-love.
Yes, agreed. Yes,
and your future self is not there yet, it's not here, but you have to be empathetic towards that person and to be empathetic towards your future self.
Yeah.
You have to start building the habits today so that you can have the future that you desire. So I go through, with hypnotherapy to help them get there.
That's just beautiful. And do you use elements of your clowning now?
Whenever we talk amongst, us clowns, we always say that it's, when we go out there, work as our professional, persona, it starts to merge. So I don't have my, red nose on me right now, but more and more, Jorge Moreno, it's the name of my clown. Yeah.
Oh.
It's more and more part of who I am because it is me. It's just with some makeup and weird clothing, but it's me. So I feel more comfortable with merging my clown with my professional person, and it comes here and there, jokes here, a little, lighthearted, a smile, a way to connect. I think it's always there, in a way.
Oh, it's beautiful, so beautiful. Now, this last video we're going to see, it was filmed in a park.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about it and what you really enjoyed with this?
Yeah, so the project was still like in its early years, and we didn't have much, how can I say this, permission to film in hospital centers because the hospital have to,
of course,
be okay with it, how the image of the hospital will be. Now it's the opposite. Hospitals are calling us to get on, But at that time, we just needed to show what we were capable of and what clowning was. So we would go to public places to record some short snippets here and there. And we went one day to a park. And then it just shows us like interacting with people in the park and showing what is to connect, what it is to play with them and to be, because we normally hide this inner child that we have, and we build society, from playing.
Yeah.
That's how we interact. And as we, grow old, we think playing is childish, and there's a difference between childish and childlike.
Yes.
And it's okay to be, playful. And that's the way we interact best. And this is us showing in this video and this that we interact not only with children, but mainly adults, because we all have that inner child in there.
Eu tenho.
Ah, uma pizza esse negócio de madeira?
É, eu trouxe do Pará.
Ah, que lindo!
Pra onde você foi no Pará?
Palhaços de plantão. A gente sempre vai nos hospitais, mas hoje a gente resolveu ir naquele parque na frente do Museu de Ipiranga e a gente aprontou muito com um monte de gente, com um monte de criança, com cachorro, com todo mundo. A gente foi lá pra ter encontro, né? Que a gente sempre, assim, vê, treina nas oficinas, é isso, a gente se encontrar. porque nem sempre esses encontros vai ter risada, enfim, mas o importante é ser interessante, é aquilo que marca, é aquilo que subverte. A gente se arrumou, fez maquiagem, tudo, chegou lá, juntou o pessoal e a gente começou a fazer um aquecimento, né? Mesmo sem o nariz, o pessoal já entortava a cabeça, assim, olhando, né?
Pochete aqui, parte feirão, com acionador ultramega plástica, legal, uma gravata.
Eu trouxe essa casinha porque a minha prima ela teve nenenzinho e no chá de bebê ela que fez assim a decoração. Aí eu achei bonitinho pra trazer assim.
Bom, eu trouxe uma coisa não tão chique quanto meus colegas, mas uma fitinha de uma cor muito legal, que eu achei em casa, jogada no canto abandonada, e com certeza vou achar uma utilidade para ela. Durante a visita eu levei um objeto que eu até achei que não ia ser tão engraçado, não ia ser tão divertido de brincar com ele, pela simplicidade do que era. E era uma fita simples, verde-limão. Nada demais. E aí, ela tava no meu bolso, eu falei, pô, uma hora vamos ver se pinta de usar. Tamo lá brincando e o cara pediu pra tirar foto. Vou botar minha fita dele. Tirei e falei assim, ó, acho que o senhor vai ficar mais bonito. Falta isso pra foto. Coloquei. Cara, depois que eu tirei a fita do bolso, pirou. Essa fita ganhou vida, foi o negócio mais louco que eu já vi na vida.
Tudo acontecia.
Passou na mão de todo mundo, a fita virou linha de chegada, a gente fez uma maratona, levantamos todo mundo cruzou a fita, a gente inventou um coco com a fita.
E ele arrasou.
Uma coisa que totalmente inesperada, uma coisa muito simples, muito sutil, foi muito divertido e deu pra muita gente brincar.
Vai ser muito